What happens is Hunter Biden, son of Joe Biden, drops off his computer to a computer repair shop in April. He never goes and gets it. So the computer there was a subpoena from the FBI. The FBI, Rudy Giuliani's lawyers, they end up getting the computer, the hard drive. A copy was made. Emails were discovered, blah, blah, blah. The way that they get it, yeah, fishy, weird, but that's what happens. That happens in journalism. It happens in every story, whether it's Trump's tax documents or the false Russian documents or whatever documents saying that Trump peed on somebody in Russia. The only way you get these things is from underhanded tactics. So we're not going to harp too much on the ethics of journalism. So the New York Post, gets these emails, right? Now, the emails allege that Hunter Biden and his involvement with a Ukrainian advisor on the board of a Ukrainian energy company who was paying Hunter at least $50,000 a month. In the emails, Hunter attempts to introduce the sitting vice president, Joe Biden, to the advisor. The advisor asks how Hunter can use his influence on the company's behalf. So this is a very important newsworthy thing. Something we've heard about since Joe Biden was in the presidential election was his possible involvement with the Ukrainian energy company and how the corruption as far as receiving millions of dollars for whatever his services were. So this is a big deal, obviously, right? So the Post publishes the story. Facebook, Twitter begin to censor the story. And they use this idea of false information. They use this idea of disinformation. They use this idea of like, well, we don't know where it came from. Facebook says we don't know the origin of the story. Some people are citing the way that the sources were received. This is all just smokescreens, right? Obviously. Like, they don't care about where stuff is from. Did anyone ask where Trump's tax documents came from? Did anybody ask where this this story was back when Russia was a thing that was proven to all be false? Did anyone ask where any of that came from? No. No one cares about that stuff. Did Twitter or Facebook take down the documents? Did they take down all the Russian information? Did they take down the stories of Trump peeing on people? No. Twitter went as far as to delete any tweet that had a link to the story. They flat out censored the New York Post, an enormous publication. They flat out said, we are not allowing this link with this story to be on our website. Twitter. Think about all the things on Twitter. Think about all the things they let out there, and Facebook as well. And they said very quickly, we're taking this down immediately. Okay? What is disinformation now? Disinformation went from this isn't true, went from this is a Russian bot, went from this is false, this is propaganda, to now I believe disinformation is simply what is the opposing view. And how dangerous is that? How dangerous is that we are in a spot where disinformation, falsity, not right, not correct, all those synonyms are just for the opposing point of view. Let me explain something to you when it comes to free speech or censorship. A lot of people, when they talk about free speech or censorship, they say, well, everyone has a right to talk. Everyone has a right to say what they want to say. Everyone has a right for that. It's not just the right of the person to speak. It's not just the right of the person to be heard, or in this case, a publication. It's the right of the people to listen. It is the right of the people to hear. Every single time we get a censorship issue, it's not just that they're stopping the New York Post from publishing. They're stopping you from listening. That's the most important part. They are shutting out any other voice. If there's a room of 100 people and 99 people agree, and one person has a different opinion on whatever it is, it can be anything, it is wrong to shut out that one person, because what those 99 people can do is at least hear a different view, at least absorb a different view. It's not just the right of that one person to say whatever crazy stuff they want to say. It's more important that the 99 people can hear. That's where we are at. That is the problem. It's not that the New York Post is being shut out. It's that you are being shut out. And the sad part is that you don't even realize it. We talked about the social dilemma here. We did two episodes. We did almost 2 hours on the social dilemma. This is not something that's new to this show. It's not something that's new to these listeners. But it is happening in the biggest sense. It is happening way bigger than you think it's happening as far as what social media is doing, what mass media is doing, and how they're changing things. This is really, really, really scary, honestly. And it just happened. I don't want to be overdramatic, but this is how the end happens. This is the end. We don't need Seth Rogen and Jonah Hill and Aziz Ansari for the end. This is the end. This is how you take a free society. This is how you take a democracy. This is how you take an election. This is how you take a country and destroy it. Because you have people, and I've said this before, when it comes to like AI and VR or whatever, if you're in AI, right, if you're in a simulation, there has to be someone controlling who's controlling the simulation, right? So thus, that person has total power. That person is God. Can you trust that person to not screw up the simulation? Just like Twitter and Facebook. Twitter and Facebook started as a blogs. Facebook started as a way for people to rank the physical appearances of their classmates at Harvard. That's how Facebook started, all right? It has grown from, hey, is this girl hot or not? It has grown from that to what Facebook is now, which is obviously a major player in the spread of information and how people are tracked, how people are we don't have to go through the whole thing. Twitter began as a space where you could drop 140 characters, drop a tweet. At one point, it was a place where we just went and laughed at Rob Delaney. We went and laughed at shit my dad says. That remember that Twitter account? We would go see memes and videos and cat photos and whatever. That's not what it is anymore. So these huge, major players, these huge, major constructs of our society are being run by people like Jack Dorsey, people like Mark Zuckerberg, and they are playing God. They are playing what you hear. They are deciding what you see, how much you see of it, when you see it. We are 30 days from an election. We are a couple weeks away from electing who will be president of the United States for the next 4 years. And we have something as powerful as Twitter, as powerful as Facebook, completely censoring a batch of emails that could put one of the candidates as in a very, very, very rough situation. They are unapologetically interfering in this election. Now listen to me. I'm going to put it real simple. I'm not saying that these emails are true. I'm not saying that the way that they got these emails is ethical. None of that's the point. The point is they are taking a story and are doing everything they can to stop the American public from receiving that story. That is election compromise. That is corruption. This is something that happens in North Korea. This is something that happens in China. We have heard about this kind of stuff. We've heard about false elections in North Korea where the president will win with 100% of the votes. We've heard about where in North Korea the dictator tells the rest of the country that he played golf. And this actually happened. He played golf, and I think they said he had 18 hole-in-ones. I think he shot an 18, and people believe it. This is happening in front of us. This is no longer, do you like Trump? This is no longer, do you like Biden? This is no longer anybody but Trump. This is no longer, grab her by the P word, or this is no longer, Russian dossiers. This is no longer Biden is incompetent, or Biden is crazy, or he has dementia. It ain't it anymore. This election is now taking a back burner to the very fabric, or the very foundation of our country. This is not a United States. This is not a country where you can have free belief. This is not a country where you can hear, think, all that stuff on your own. This is a country now that's dictated. Our dictators are Twitter and Facebook. What you used to post your 20 photo albums from the night before in some weird college bar, that has now turned into your dictator. The quote I read you from 1984, I'm going to outline it in all these stories. That quote could not be more real than it is right now. So that's the first thing that we're going to talk about is Twitter and Facebook choosing what you see, what you hear, when you see it, when you hear it. And everyone just sitting back letting it happen. I guarantee you right now, pick 20 people in your phone, text all 20 of those people, and ask those people if they've heard about this story or what they know about Hunter Biden's emails, what they know about Ukraine, what they know about Joe Biden. And then they're going to say no. They're going to say, I have not heard about that. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't care. And then you can say, well, who are you voting for president? And regardless of who they say, they are voting. Regardless of their ideals or what's happening, they are still members of the United States. So if they are being tricked, if they are being deceived, if they are being shut out, if they don't even know this stuff is happening, what does that say about the election? What does that say about the country? Let's move on to the next thing. We're going to stick with Biden, and this is actually something I forgot to mention earlier. So we all know because of Trump's COVID situation that the second debate got all screwed up. So what's happening now is that Biden is holding a town hall where he's answering questions, and Trump is holding like a rally thing. NBC has the rights to the Trump rally. Current plan is ABC has Biden's. The current plan is for NBC to show Trump's rally opposite of Joe Biden. 2 stations. This isn't like MSNBC. This isn't Fox News. This isn't these like right-leaning, left-leaning. These are broadcast companies. These come with a TV. These are basic cable. This is what we used to watch Sesame Street on. Okay, this is Channel 4. You know what I mean? Like this is something that has been with us for the entirety of American history. Well, obviously not the entirety. They didn't have TVs. But you know what I'm saying? NBC is being threatened and is being held, their feet to the fire to cancel the Trump presentation, the broadcast, to black out the channel, to completely wipe it off of their scheduling. Now, why is that? The reason that people are giving is because it gives Trump a voice, and it is going to be directly competing with Biden. Guys, this is even worse than the Twitter and Facebook thing. They're straight up saying black screen this thing like it's Instagram 2 months ago. They're saying don't allow the opposing voice to be on TV. Cut him out. Only show Biden. This is NBC. NBC is threatening, or is being threatened and being propositioned to black out their screen, to blind the American public from one of the candidates of the election. Because he may get higher views, he may get higher ratings, he may take away eyes from Biden. Can you imagine if I told you 20 years ago that there was a political or a presidential election and NBC was going to not show one of the candidates because it possibly could take away viewers from another candidate? If that's not campaign or election corruption, I don't know what the hell is. So now we have the social media channels. Now we have the TV channels completely, unabashedly, unapologetically coming out and saying we are corrupting all the information you get. We're telling you what you can see. We're telling you when you can see it. We're telling you who's talking, who you can listen to. They're basically telling you who to vote for, unapologetically. Now think about the stuff that they're doing behind the scenes. Think about the stuff they've been doing that you don't even know about. This is the stuff they're comfortable with admitting. This is the stuff they're comfortable admitting they're doing. Twitter's fine saying, yeah, we're deleting the New York Post link. NBC is fine saying we're thinking about changing the time of, or we're thinking about changing Trump's his presentation or his broadcast so it doesn't affect Biden's. They're okay saying that, and that is already shattering the very foundation of our democracy. So think about what they are not admitting. Think about what they've been doing to you while you're watching TikTok. Think about what they're doing to you while you're on Twitter talking in the comment section or replying, ratioed. Oh, you got ratioed. This ain't a game anymore, ladies and gentlemen. This ain't a game. If you think Twitter, if you're one of those people who's like, I don't do politics, I don't vote, I don't care, bruh. Twitter is just a place where I can go in the replies and troll, and I can just joke around, and I can just, it is what it is, dude. I really don't care. That's fine. All right? But you have to understand that the country you live in is under attack right now. Honestly, it is. Your very freedom, all of this is under attack. And I cannot, this cannot be over dramatized. If I'm being over dramatic, fine, perfect. This is the time to be over dramatic. This is so comparable / comparable, depending on who you are, to every other takeover in history of humans. This is what happens. They change your history. They change what you can see. They regulate voices. They completely censor opposing views. And this is happening right now, and people don't give a shit. Imagine in 30 years, 40 years, 50 years.